What's the most wallet-friendly place to live in the USA? In a country where rent feels like legal robbery and a basic one-bedroom apartment costs more than a second-hand SUV, finding a livable, affordable place seems like searching for a unicorn riding a budget jetpack. But guess what? Not today. Today we're diving straight into the real deal. The top 10 most affordable cities in the United States. Yes, they still exist. These magical places combine reasonable housing prices, a livable environment, and yes, an actual quality of life you don't have to mortgage your soul for. And no, we're not talking about ghost towns with one blinking stoplight and tumbleweeds that whisper, "Get out." These cities are legit places where you can live, thrive, and maybe even enjoy a sunset without worrying if it's the last one before eviction. So, if you're tired of dropping $2,000 a month just to share a bathroom with 4 random strangers and a raccoon that pays no rent, keep watching. You're about to discover the 10 places in America where your paycheck doesn't just vanish into rent black holes. These spots are so under the radar, they're practically hiding in plain sight. But once you see them, you'll wonder why everyone isn't packing their bags already. And no, this list isn't sponsored by the Move to the Middle of Nowhere committee. These cities are real, affordable, and surprisingly awesome. Tap that like button, slam subscribe. And let's explore the towns where the cost of living doesn't mean giving up on actually living. Number 10, Decatur, Alabama. Let me throw a question your way. When was the last time you heard about a U.S. city where the median home value is under $28,000, and the place wasn't in the middle of a post-apocalyptic horror movie? Welcome to Decatur, Alabama. A city where the scenery is stunning, the river cuts through like a scene from a postcard, and the rent doesn't come with a side of bankruptcy. This hidden southern gem has somehow managed to dodge the madness of rising prices that are strangling so many other American cities. We're talking $1,200 rent on average, and a cost of living nearly 17% below the national average. That's not just affordable, that's "I can breathe again" territory. Here in Decatur, you don't have to sacrifice nature for the sake of budgeting. The Tennessee River wraps around the city like a calm, soothing hug. You can go from sipping sweet tea on your porch to paddling a kayak through peaceful riverfront parks, all before most Americans finish cursing out morning traffic. And yes, it's scenic, but not in that millionaire's mountain cabin kind of way. This is nature made affordable. It's peace and greenery without the premium price tag. Worried about jobs, culture, that something to do factor? Decatur's not trying to be the next tech megacity, and thank goodness for that. Instead, it thrives on manufacturing, healthcare, and education, sectors that keep the city running without the chaos. Think of it like a Honda Civic with leather seats. Not flashy, but gets the job done with surprising comfort. The vibe, friendly, neighborly. It's one of those towns where people wave at each other, and not in a creepy way. More like the "hey, we're still human" way. The kind of place where time feels like it finally slowed down just enough for you to enjoy your life. So here's the deal. Do you want to keep paying skyscraper rent for a shoebox apartment with zero privacy? Or live in a place where your money actually gets you a home, some quiet, and maybe even a little joy? Decatur's not loud, but it might just be the smartest move you'll make this year. Number 9. Rockford, Illinois. Alright, ready for a jaw-drop moment. In Rockford, Illinois, you can still buy a home for under $160,000. No, this isn't a glitch in the Matrix or a flashback to 1995. It's real. The median home price here is just $155,422, and that's not for a haunted shack or an abandoned bunker. These are legit homes in a city that's shockingly livable. The cost of living, 21% below the national average. That means your money stretches like it's doing yoga. Rent averages just $1,150 a month, which leaves enough room in your budget for actual groceries, maybe a vacation, and definitely more than just microwave noodles. And guess what? Rockford isn't just cheap. It's beautifully underrated. The city's full of green spaces, parks, and nature preserves. You might even forget you're in Illinois and think you've landed somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. Got an outdoorsy streak? Rockford's got walking trails, riverside paths, and some of the lushest parkland in the region. It's basically a nature lover's dream, with a low price tag. Now let's talk community. This city has a soul. Neighbors say hi, not just peek through blinds. You've got cultural flavor too. Japanese gardens, art centers, and even minor league baseball for those summer hot dog and bleacher seat vibes. Now I know what you're thinking, Illinois. Doesn't that come with Chicago taxes and crime drama? Slow your roll. Rockford is its own thing, sitting about 90 minutes outside of Chicago. Far enough to escape the madness. Close enough for a weekend escape into the city if you miss the chaos. Bottom line. If you're tired of fighting for parking and paying a premium for breathing air, Rockford is calling your name. It's got small-town affordability with just enough big city flavor to keep life interesting. Number 8, Conway, Arkansas. Here's a thought that might melt your brain just a little. It's 2025, and yes, you can still find a college town with tech jobs, affordable rent, and homes under $250,000. Wild, right? Welcome to Conway, Arkansas, a place that somehow dodged the memo that everything in America needs to be overpriced and overcrowded. Let's start with the jaw-dropping numbers. Median home value? $245,000. Rent? Just $1,129 a month. And with a cost of living nearly 18% lower than the national average, you might finally have money for things like brunch or a day off without financial guilt. But don't let the Southern charm fool you. Conway isn't stuck in the past. It's home to 3 colleges, including the University of Central Arkansas. That means the city hums with energy, filled with cafes, events, and that unbeatable young creative vibe. Here's where it gets interesting. Conway's quietly building a tech scene. Startups, remote work hubs, digital careers. It's all happening, but without the rent nightmares you'd find in places like Austin or Silicon Valley. So yes, you can launch a career and still afford groceries that don't come in plastic wrap. The vibe. Southern warmth meets new energy. People are kind, the pace is comfortable, and you don't need a 6-figure salary to enjoy your life here. Conway is that rare blend of opportunity and affordability. And the only real question is, why hasn't everyone else figured it out yet? Number 7, Springfield, Missouri. Let's keep this money-saving train rolling. In Springfield, Missouri, you can still scoop up a home for less than $230,000. And no, it's not cursed or crumbling. Median home value. Just $229,073. Monthly rent. Around $1,250. And you won't need a calculator to realize that's insanely reasonable compared to the rent-pocalypse happening in most American cities. The cost of living here is about 16% lower than the national average, which makes Springfield a financial oasis in a desert of overpriced madness. But what about livability? Glad you asked. Springfield isn't just cheap, it's actually pleasant. From green parks to historic downtown streets, with a median home price of just $188,217, Brownsville is a unicorn wrapped in palm trees and tacos. Rent here. A shockingly manageable $1,100 a month. Add in a cost of living about 22% below the national average, and suddenly, that dream of living near the beach without selling a kidney isn't so far-fetched. But affordability is just the beginning. Brownsville isn't some sleepy beach town lost in time. It's a cultural melting pot at the southern tip of Texas, where Mexican and American vibes blend into something flavorful, festive, and fiercely authentic. The food scene. Tragious. The sunsets. Instagram-level stunning. The Gulf Coast breezes. Free therapy. And don't sleep on the job scene. Brownsville's economy is steadily growing, powered by education, healthcare, international trade, and even aerospace, thanks to its proximity to SpaceX's Boca Chica site. It's one of the few places where you can catch a rocket launch, eat street tacos, and make rent, all in the same day. This isn't some overdeveloped, overpriced tourist trap. Brownsville is community-focused, nature-adjacent, and ridiculously livable. You've got access to wildlife preserves, bike trails, and South Padre Island just a short drive away. Translation. It's warm, it's scenic, and you don't need 6 roommates and a side hustle to survive. So ask yourself, Why fight for parking in LA or pay $3,000 a month to be close to the beach in Miami, when you could own a home near the coast in a city that actually lets you enjoy it? Next up, number 4. Evansville, Indiana.